Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome. My name is Host Speaker, and I specialize in how AI is transforming the hospitality world. It's an absolute pleasure to be speaking with all of you, the students of the Europe Hotel School, for this session. So today we're going to get into something that is really, and I mean really, changing the game for how hotels run. And for you, as the next generation of leaders, this is something you'll absolutely want to have on your radar. We're talking about how artificial intelligence is being used in HR to completely reshape the employee experience for the better.
All right, so here's a quick look at what we'll be covering. First up, we'll tackle what I call the hotel communication bottleneck. From there, we'll look at the self-service AI solution that's fixing it. Then, we'll break down the dual benefit for everyone, because it really is a win-win. And we'll finish up by talking about what this means for you, leading with empathy and AI.
Okay, let's get right into it. Section 1, the hotel communication bottleneck. This is all about that hidden friction that, just quietly slows everything down behind the scenes in a busy hotel.
When you think about a big hotel, you've got so many moving parts, right? Countless departments, hundreds of employees, all on different shifts. And getting information to flow smoothly between everyone, well, that's absolutely critical. But more often than not, it's that simple internal communication that becomes the biggest headache. And it's not just a minor inconvenience. It really hits staff morale, it slows down efficiency, and it can seriously damage the overall employee experience.
So, what does this friction actually look like on the ground? Well, think about the kind of questions your team members are asking every single day. Something as simple as this: how many holiday days do I have left? It's a perfectly reasonable question, right? Something everyone needs to know.
And here's another classic. Where could I find my latest pay slip? Again, seems like a simple request. But when you take that one question and multiply it by a staff of hundreds, suddenly you've got a massive challenge on the hands of your HR department.
And what happens? Well, it creates this cycle of frustration. Your employees are left waiting for answers, sometimes for hours, maybe even a whole day. That doesn't feel good. And on the other side, your HR managers are just getting buried under this mountain of emails, answering the same questions over and over. This is what we call the tyranny of the inbox. It completely traps your HR team and stops them from doing the really important strategic stuff.
So there has to be a better way, right? Of course there is. And that brings us to our next section, the self-service AI solution. This is all about providing instant answers through some pretty smart automation.
Okay, so what are we actually talking about here? The core of this whole thing is something called an AI-powered self-service chatbot. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. It's basically a really intelligent bot that plugs right into a hotel's existing systems. Things like their main HR database, you'll hear it called an HRIS, and the messaging apps your team already uses every day, like Slack or Microsoft Teams. You'll see companies like Lena AI or Moveworks leading the charge in this space.
And for the employee, it couldn't be easier. It's really just 3 simple steps. 1, they just ask a question in the chat app they're already in all day. 2, behind the scenes, the AI bot securely goes into the HR system and pulls up the specific information for that employee. And 3, the bot shoots back an instant and, most importantly, accurate answer, right there in the chat. It's completely seamless.
All right, so let's get into the results, because this is where it gets really powerful. We're talking about a dual benefit for everyone, a massive improvement in efficiency for both your employees and your HR team.
So what kind of impact are we actually talking about here? Well, these AI platforms can take on all those routine transactional questions, the payslip and holiday queries, completely on their own. And the number is, well, it's a game changer. We're talking about automating up to 80% of those common HR requests.
Just look at this breakdown. It's pretty staggering. A full 80% of those everyday questions are just handled instantly by the AI. No human needed. That frees up your HR specialists to focus on just that remaining 20%, the really complex, nuanced issues that require a human touch. The scare of that shift is just, it's huge.
And this is why we call it a win-win. For your employees, it's all about instant gratification. No more waiting around. They get answers 24/7, and all their info is right at their fingertips. Now, for the HR teams, the benefits are just as big. They're finally freed from that endless loop of repetitive tasks. This gives them the time and headspace to focus on strategic work, on the stuff that really matters, like building great relationships with the staff. But you might be wondering, what about that other 20%? The really complex stuff, like a detailed question about maternity leave. Well, that's where a brilliant feature called the warm handoff comes into play. The AI is smart enough to recognize when a question needs a human expert, so it seamlessly transfers the conversation to the right person in HR, and, this is the key part, it passes along the entire conversation history. This means the employee never has to repeat their story. It's just a smooth, professional, and really respectful experience.
Okay, this brings us to our final section, and honestly, I think it's the most important one. Let's talk about leading with empathy and AI, because this is really about the future of how we manage people in hospitality.
The main takeaway here is so important. This technology is not about replacing people, it is about empowering them. By automating all the robotic, data-pulling tasks, we free up our managers and HR pros to focus on what humans do best. We're talking about high empathy, high-value work like mentoring staff, planning career paths, and just genuinely engaging with their teams on a human level. So let's bring this all back to you. As a future leader in this industry, what does all this mean for you? Well, it means you'll be able to build much more efficient teams. It means you can create a truly fantastic employee experience from the get-go. You'll be able to focus your energy on strategy, not soul-crushing admin. And I want to be really clear about this. This is the new standard of modern hotel operations. This is what will be expected.
So I want to leave you with one final question to carry with you as you move forward in your careers. As a future hospitality leader, how are you going to use technology like this, not just to make things faster, but to actually elevate the human experience in your hotel? Thank you so much for your attention today.